Hey guys! So I like to think of my YouTube channel as one big community where anime lovers, manga lovers, video game lovers, fantasy, sci-fi, everything all bound up together. We are a community that can bounce off our ideas, collaborate, talk to each other. So that is why I decided to answer some questions that Red Yuma had for me about Diabolik Lovers Season 2 More Blood. Instead of in a PM, I decided to answer it in a video format. That way everyone can get together and bounce ideas and thoughts off of each other. And that sounded really cheesy now that I've actually said it out loud. So her first question is, what are your expectations for the season? I would say that my expectations are really, really low because even though I love Diabolik Lovers, it's one of my favorite fandoms, it has some of my favorite characters in anime ever. The last season, as an anime analyst, I have to say it was a very, very terrible anime. Because they were trying to go way more plot-driven than character-driven, and they didn't introduce the plot early on, so we couldn't get hooked to the plot and a lot of other technical aspects. However, I've seen the very first episode of More Blood, and because of that, I see they are trying to fix some of their mistakes. One of them is keeping closer to the source material, because More Blood, if they are going to go more of a plot-driven way, More Blood has a ton of plot, and I don't mean that type of plot, I mean plot. And because of this, you can have a more structured anime than you could the first time around, especially since a lot, or actually the majority of our characters have already been introduced. We know their personalities, so you don't have to do so much characterization as you would the first time around. Second of all, I've seen they started fixing some mistakes, which I'm so happy about. One of the main things being that Subaru actually gets lines. And I've always been actually kind of surprised that Subaru was not like the main character or main guy in the last anime, considering he's one of the most beloved characters in this entire series. Partly because he's less psychotic or abusive towards Yui than the other guys. But I am just actually surprised how little attention he got last time. And the fact that they remedied this makes me so happy. So already, even though my expectations for this anime in general are low, the very first episode probably raised it just enough for me to be a little more interested and attached to it than I already would have. Which is saying a lot, actually. So her next question is, which characters are you excited to see? Okay, that depends how this anime is going to be laid out, because if you have seen like the teaser episode that they created that came with the newer game, they had it at the very, very, very end, and spoiler alert, so skip this part if you don't want to listen, they had the Tsukami brothers in it as well. So while I am excited about the Mikami brothers, I am excited to see where you're going to put the Tsukami brothers, because if this is supposed to be like only 12 episodes, how are you going to push so much plot? Or are these brothers going to be at the end? So I'm excited to see all the new characters. But if we're going into specifics here, I have to say Azusa. He is my favorite Mikami brother, and since we know they are going to be part of this new season, then Azusa it is. Because I just have this huge pity party for him for some reason, and then I realize he's just as psychotic as the others. But then I just find him so adorable for some reason. And it probably has more to do with his backstory and how crazy and messed up it is. But since the pity is there and the fact that his character design is awesome and he has a really interesting personality, basically all my money is on Azusa. However, I am also excited about how they're going to handle Yuma and his backstory, because we all know how that works out between him and Shu. So her next question is, which characters do you want to learn more about? That is actually a hard one, considering I have already watched the games being played since I'm broke, and I have watched the anime. So there is not much more I can learn about the characters unless they're going to shove more information into these anime. If they end up going down that route, I would like to see more about Azusa and Kanato, simply because they are my favorite characters. However, if they are going to show backstories and things like that, definitely the whole Shu and Yuma thing. Spoilers, gosh. Okay, next question is, do you think there will be any relationships this season? I don't think so. A lot of the times with the harem genre, especially when they're based off of an otome game, they have to keep the status quo, which means Yui will be teased being paired off with different guys, but she will never ever actually get with a guy. However, thanks to last season, it's basically canon that her and Ayato are an item. Which technically answers the second question, do you think there will be any relationships this season? If so, which character and Yui? Basically, her and Ayato. Last season, it was more or less crammed down our throats, and more than likely this season will be no different. However, there will always be a however. The beginning of the very first episode, towards the beginning, they had it where that one scene in More Blood where Yui wakes up and then basically the triplets team up on her. Yeah, they had that scene, so maybe they won't stick. Maybe they won't stick her and Ayato together. Maybe they'll stick to the status quo, which I prefer it when it is stuck to the status quo. That way I can ship Yui and everybody. Because while I do like Yui and Ayato, I think it's a very cute couple, I like seeing the dynamics between Yui and the other brothers because they are all very different in the way that they operate. So I am in hopes that status quo will be kept so that way I can continue seeing the different dynamics between them in the anime format instead of fanfiction. So the final question is, how close to the original storyline of More Blood will they keep the anime this season? If you have seen the first episode, then you know that they are starting off pretty strong. If you've seen the first episode at all, then you will probably notice that there are some scenes that are not verbatim, but there are scene for scene from the otome game, which is really cool to see, considering a lot of the time you don't see that because it's very hard to translate an otome game onto an anime screen because things are actually moving, character movements, and things of that nature. So seeing how they actually managed to do that, it was really awesome. Especially, like I said, the triplets teaming up on Yui. Seal of approval. That's all I gotta say about that. So those are all of Red Yuma's questions. And guys, if you ever have questions or my expectations or about what I want to see out of the anime or anything, just ask me in the YouTube channel discussion. Yeah, the channel discussion. And I will do my best to deliver a video upon you guys, because these are actually really fun to do. Also, apparently Amnesia is now in English. No, not that Amnesia. If this is becoming a running gag, I'm going to hurt someone because I'm actually terrified of the Amnesia game. Not the Amnesia Otome game, which is what I am talking about. Totally out of context. Differentiate the two. They're two different things. So the Otome game, Amnesia, has an English game. All you have to do is sit down, get on your phone, and go to the Google Play Store, and you will find it. You have to pay for Roots, which is kind of dumb in my opinion, but I don't run the company, so whatever. But you can buy the English game. You can either buy the Roots for your favorite guys, or you can just buy the premium package. That way you get everybody. Also, since we're on the topic of Reject and everything, Reject is making an anime. Not just Diabolik Lovers, More Blood, but Dance with Devils. And from what I understand, it's about a girl who learns that the boys in her class are actually devils. And I'm excited about this anime. A lot of people have said that it has very Diabolik lovery vibes, but that sounds more like Reject's vibes to me because almost every single Reject game I've ever interacted with has very sadist and masochist boys in them who are very dominant. And I'm not sure if that's just a Reject thing in general, but that's what it sounds like when people say it has a diabolically lovery feel. That's what it just sounds like to me, just like typical Reject stuff, which is really cool if it's in a complete anime setting with no prior game, because I have nothing to compare it to, nothing to complain that it's not like this about. And I will leave the trailer for this down in the description below, so just check that out. And while you're in that description, click the like button. Also, go down into the comment section. Tell me your thoughts. Are you excited about Diabolik Lovers More Blood? Have you seen the very first episode? What are your expectations for it? Who are your favorite characters so far? Who are you excited to see? Let me know. Also, since you are down there, go ahead and tell me what you want next. Do you want a review? Do you want a rant? What do you want next? Just let me know and I will try to deliver, even though I have a huge backlog of stuff to do. Just let me know. And also, click that subscribe button since you're kind of going to be in that area anyway. That way, you can get everything all up in that inbox. See ya, guys!
「こんな数秒の潤い